Hi, Toby Hodges from Yachting World. Once again delighted to be on the Swan stand at the Cannes Yacht Show. I mean, it's full glamour, isn't it? And here, the world premiere of the Swan 55. To introduce it is really designed to replace the long-standing 54. Those 54 is still in the range, but you'll probably know or remember that the 58 was introduced last year, and obviously the 55 is quite close to that. So what are the principal differences? Well, the 55, as I say, designed to replace the 54, which is the low freeboard, old style, very elegant design, but really designed for couples and families. So where the 58 is really a big 58, might well be used with a skipper, this is designed more for owner users. And yeah, it's still a very modern, powerful shape though. I mean, beamy, and has that touch of Frers magic about it. So let's have a quick tour here. Well, there's no one on board. Starting from the bow, they've introduced this integrated bowsprit, which is slightly lower, as you see, than the shear line. Gets the anchor closer to the water, and yeah, doesn't interrupt the lines, keeps them nice and low. This pad eye here can be an integrated electric code furler, and then obviously you've got the Genoa furler further after that. Gas locker there, which if you go for electric cooking, could be a petrol locker for your tender or whatever. And then you have sort of butterfly style hatches for the sail locker and chain locker here. Let me open those up now. So sail locker, obviously essential on a cruising yacht like this. Yeah, done a smart job. Got the ladder down on the starboard side there, floor above the bow thruster, and then they've contained the anchor locker in that bucket there to port. Still got plenty of room for sails and fenders, and then the waterproof bulkhead behind there, all neatly done. And you can see the ram on this one has an optional inner stay sail, and that can be, as this has, with the ram that tightens it down on deck and locks up on the mast there. But yeah, really neat solution with that furler on it as well. This one has used the optional self-tacking jib track for the staysail, which makes quite a lot of sense. Makes it all easy to control through the gears from the cockpit without leaving there. And then the Genoa cars, really neatly done, right inboard on long tracks, keeps these side decks beautifully clear, so you can see just how much flat deck space there is there, and really easy going down the side decks here. Very sleek design. Standard, unlike the 58, is to have carbon rig, aluminium rig, not carbon. And then yeah, look at the running rigging, how it goes neatly under this coach roof and comes out at this bank of clutches here. Even the spray hood in a nice little flush deck area keeps it flush in its own well there. A neat part of the design is having the coamings which extend outboard of the cockpit like that, so you've got room for a bank of 6 jammers, and the good sized winches separate of the guest cockpit, as it were. Very, very neatly done. And then as we get aft here, you can appreciate one of the real areas of difference they've introduced on this boat, which is, I think they call it a beach club, which has come down from their maxi-size yachts. And you can see it's absolutely enormous. So quite a feat of engineering. You can see the massive hydraulic rams needed for this, but to explain a little bit, it's a double hinging process, so that after part there becomes this top deck. So it would fold up and then that would close over there, and then this push pit rail would then move back onto the aft. The reason for this is basically to give you this massive area, to really give you a double size swim platform essentially, and a tender garage as well. So you can get your rib in there, 2.5 meter rib in there. You can see how the steps would go over it if it was in there. And yeah, you've got this beach club area for when at anchor. Really does extend the boat. It makes this a very, very big 55 footer. Now, obviously, it's a lot of space to use for a rib. So you are using up quite a lot of your stowage space. You need your sail locker and your small cockpit bench lockers, because back here, yeah, you've got just the passerelle there, and then access. You've got a sort of half bulkhead here which closes off the access, and then they've got the steering gear, the electronics, exhaust systems, that sort of thing, before the watertight bulkhead into the interior. Moving into the cockpit, they've kept the same sort of options you got on the 58, so you could have a captive main sheet system here, which would get rid of this mainsail plinth, winch plinth there, keep a nice tidy deck, or I actually like these plinths which sort of separate it up, give you a bit of bracing. Same with having twin tables as well. Really nice solution to have. It means that, you know, in sailing mode, you're not taking up too much room. That would do the same, but then you can lower one, you could lower both, make it a full den, or you can join the tables to seat, I don't know, 10, 12 people around the cockpit. Nice big pedestal designs, which have full access to the electronics below. Good grab rails on them as well. And you can see you've got the aft part of this. I don't know if I can get in that one with it. There, you can just sit there. There you go. With the cushion off, you've got nice tail lockers there for the tail ends of the sheets and running rigging, and then shallow bench locker each side in the cockpit itself, and then forward cockpit life raft locker. And then let's move down into the nice air-conditioned space. Really very inviting feel on this one. It's a natural oak finish, but it feels like a modern cruising yacht. And yes, Swan wanted to replicate that feeling of the 54. I think they've achieved that. It obviously feels like a much bigger boat. You've got so much more beam aft. They've brought the galley, which was on the starboard side on 54, they've brought it here, which I think works well because it links to a utility cabin area. So you can essentially extend your galley space, or have extra refrigeration space in there. And there's a couple of areas on this interior which make it super practical because they can be customized to suit. We'll look at the forward area in a minute, but this one, for example, can just be a utility cabin. That's what it is as standard. So a big workbench there. This owner's gone for putting a pilot berth on top of that workbench, and gone for, I think that's a washer dryer in there. Could just be stowage. As I say, below this one is the generator access. Little bit of stowage above it, and below there, I believe that is stowage under there. Yeah, but that could be extra refrigeration, could be a deep freeze, whatever we want it to be. Nice whole window there. As standard, your refrigeration space in that front opening one, and that's an extra drawer fridge below, plus the lift top here. Otherwise you have these sliding lockers, bank of drawers here, and then below the inboard sink, and of course the work surface area here. This one has the dishwasher on there as well. Three plus two cabin layout as standard. So you have this twin cabin here. It feels really naturally light as well. You can see the size of the whole ports as well. Really nicely done. This couldn't have private access into the day heads as well. Huge tall wardrobe outboard, and that's engine access. Inboard, I'll show you the access from under the companionway steps, and just the day heads in this format. There's a separate shower and heads. Locker here gives you access, like the 58, to the switch panel. Yeah, sensible place to have it by the companionway really, because your nav station can be forward. There's the option to have it in the centre as well. So this owner's gone for more of a conventional couch, sofa berth, could be a sea berth area to starboard, and the nav station further forward, but you can switch that around. Nice little area for his dog in there with a lee berth, with a lee cloth, as you do. And this has that really nice saloon table option we saw on the 58, which means you're not hogging the whole saloon area with a big table, but you can see these parts of the table give work to make it suit the application you want. So they'll slide out to the center, leaf open each way, and really extend that area so you can sit the director's chairs around, seat lots of people out there. But you can see from the twin cockpit tables, most people are going to eat outside anyway. Why hog all that space? It makes this area feel enormous, really. Stowage below in drawers, below all these berths, because the tanks, 800 litres of fuel, 600 litres of water, are below the floorboards. Now moving forward, you have similar situation you saw in the 54, which is to have a guest cabin to port and a forward owner's cabin, which share a heads and shower. So separate shower stall in there, with a door interlinking into the heads forward, and the owner's cabin has access into those. And there you have the third cabin. So the aft cabin's the VIP guest cabin, and then you have a good sized double there as well, with its own wardrobe. Now I'll come back to this area because this is the area which might change for some people, but as standard, yeah, this is the nice big bright forward owner's cabin. Light, really light, loads of headroom up here, goes right the way to the foot of the berth, plenty of headroom, plenty of beam up here, and lots of natural light. These tall wardrobes, they're locked on this one, owner's boat, and yeah, there's the separate heads in here with the interlocking door to the shower. Now what Swan's introducing here, which I think could make this a really interesting solution, is the option to make it essentially a super suite. So that would mean that you'd lose that cabin. Who wants to have two extra sets of guests with them? You're normally going to have one set of guests or family members or whatever, and they can be in the aft cabin with their own heads. So this would become a door. You'd lose all of this area if you wanted to, so it'd be one massive open suite, and therefore you use this area how you want it to be. A lot of people starting to work more from their boats. You can imagine it being an office, a workroom, if that was a desk there, perhaps even a berth on top of the desk for an occasional guest, or a sea berth or whatever. But make it a very customizable or massive suite area, which I think could be popular, certainly with the US market having two cabin boat, and yeah, it will feel enormous. So this boat is available as all Swans have been for a while with 3 moods. This one has an extra mood on it, and the mood is what they call for basically their interior finishing and styling. So they're going very oak based now, available like this, more natural, or a darker stained or a bleached effect on the oak, with obviously lots of different fabric colours and material choices. There's also the option to have a walnut finish, I believe, as well. And we will have a look in the machinery in the engine access now. So those 3 steps lift on struts and give you access to the Yanmar. This is their latest 110, which is available as the sail drive or as a standard shaft drive as well. And yeah, as well as this, you can see those big panels there that open out. You can perhaps just see the aft end of that generator, which has access from the utility cabin itself. And this one, the latest, as I say, because it has this control panel next to the engine, which gives you throttle control, emergency throttle, and on and off control for the engine. Neat feature to have. Now then, further aft of here is the, like on other Swans we've seen recently, you get access to the pumps and manifolds as well. So you've got a roving bilge pump here, and then the fuel manifold switch over. And you can see also how these floorboards are mounted on an aluminium grid structure, which keeps the cable run below them and out of any wet area of the bilge. And I know I've said that this is a family-based owner's boat, but there is also the option for perhaps the Turkish, Italian markets, whatever, to have a private access into here. So you can make this a skipper's cabin. It can have a heads under there, and it can have a pull-out wash basin with its own private access from there. But I imagine it will be used predominantly by owners. So it's a sub 2 million boat, not by that much. I think it's going to be somewhere around 1.6 going up to 1.8 by base price for the following years, to be confirmed, whereas the 58 starts above that, above 2 million. Yeah, a very attractive looking yacht. She's 22.4 tons displacement, offered with 2 different keel depths and a lift, a telescopic lift keel as well. Hope you enjoyed the tour. Quick one, you've got to get these quick ones in while you got the chance, but yeah, really good looking boat, and hopefully get the chance to sail it soon.